morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming out today to memorialize those men and women who cannot be here today and sacrifice their entire life for the freedom of this country. Please take your hats off. We have plenty of flags here behind at the World War Memorial Park here at the Town Hall and the Color Guard right here. Please rise if you can. Take your hats off for the national anthem. I want to introduce Madison Scherer, who will sing today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Next, I'd like to introduce Kurt Litchfield, the Veterans Council chaplain.
Gracious God, on this Memorial Day weekend, we remember and give thanks to those who have given their lives in the service of our country. When the need was greatest, they stepped forward and did their duty to defend the freedoms that we enjoy and to win the same for others. O God, you yourself have taught us that no love is greater than that which gives itself for another. These honored dead gave the most precious gift they had, life itself, for the loved ones and neighbors, for comrades and country, and for us. Help us to honor their memory by caring for the family members they have left behind, by ensuring that their wounded comrades are properly cared for, by being watchful caretakers of the freedom for which they gave their lives, and be demanding that no other young men and women follow them as to a soldier's grave unless the reason is worthy and the cause is just. Holy One, help us to remember that freedom is not free. There are times when the cost is indeed dear. Never let us forget that those who paid so terrible a price to ensure that freedom would be our legacy. Though their names may fade with the passing of generations, may we never forget what they have done. Help us to be worthy of their sacrifice. Amen.
Thank you, Kurt. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out here today to spend your Monday, the day off that you have, away from your family. We barbecues that'll happen this afternoon, just to spend less than an hour with us today to memorialize and remember those who are no longer with us, specifically here today from Southbridge. I would like to now introduce Keith Roberts, our Veteran Service Officer, who'll be reading the proclamation from, I believe, the Massachusetts Governor. It's the Governor's, right? Okay, good to go.
A proclamation from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. While the nation was still recovering from the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor the soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas, after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country. Renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, is when people remember and honor the memory of all the men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts residents have fought in the wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts residents have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas the legacy of patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all Americans. And whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts residents remember the bravery of those who gave their lives so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore, Maura T. Healey, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 26, 2025 to be Memorial Day, and urge all residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber of Boston this 26th day of May in the year 2025, in the independence of the United States of America, the 248th. May God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
So I have the honor today to introduce our Grand Marshal, who is a Vietnam veteran, longtime Southbridge resident, and overall a real good man. Larry Spinelli, the Veterans Council reached out to Mr. Spinelli and asked him to be our Grand Marshal this year in honor of his service and sacrifice, not only to his country, but also the town of Southbridge specifically. Mr. Spinelli joined the Air Force and was discharged from the Air Force from 1969 to 1973. He is a Vietnam veteran from October of 1969 to October of 1970, spending 366 days in a foreign country called Vietnam. He was also a scout leader for 10 years. He's part of the planning board for 35 years. He was a town councilor, and he received his honorable discharge as an E5 in the Air Force, a staff sergeant. He is married to the former Mrs. Bonnie DeFederico for 57 years. I'd like to now introduce our Grand Marshal to say a few words.
What a beautiful day today is. Today, Memorial Day 2025, holds a somber and reverent significance as a day of remembrance for the men and women who died on the battlefield serving in the armed forces. It is celebrated to honor all those from the American Revolution to the present day who made the ultimate sacrifice for our well-being. This day is not a social obligation, but a sacred remembrance. These men and women who made this ultimate sacrifice would not seek recognition for their service, but it is our responsibility to ensure that today it is given to them. Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day. This holiday originated after the Civil War, when families placed flowers and flags and other decorations on the gravesite of Union and Confederate soldiers who had died in battle. Today, Memorial Day serves as a time to reflect on this sacrifice made by our fallen heroes. These men and women gave up their future, all that they would be, all that they should be, all they could be for those of us here today. Today we pay tribute to their courage, their valor, and selflessness, because it is our presence here today that we fulfill the future they surrendered with their lives. Today we celebrate their sacrifice by laying wreaths at these monuments, visiting cemeteries and placing flags at their grave sites, and participating in these ceremonies. We do this to honor the memory of all those men and women who gave their lives in service to our nation. All of us living here in freedom will always be grateful to those who sacrificed to preserve this freedom. I am so proud to be here today to participate in this ceremony, to honor and remember their acts of heroism, express gratitude to those who answered the call to service, who made the ultimate sacrifice, not looking for glory, but receiving it here today. Thank you to all of you here today, remembering their service. We make their stories live forever. And what greater honor is there than that? Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Representative John Marcy, represents the 6th District, and welcome him as a friend and as a neighbor and an all-around great representative of our district. So I welcome you, John. Thank you so much for attending today. Thanks, John.
More appropriate height. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's truly an honor to be here. I am proud to represent the 6th Worcester District, of which Southbridge is the biggest part. It's truly a privilege for me to be here as we honor our fallen heroes and salute Southbridge's veterans. Memorial Day is a day that we come together as a community to pay tribute to those who have died in service to the United States. While everyone who served gave something, today we gather to remember those who gave everything. Remember that freedom is not free. It's easy to become complacent at times, living in a nation where we enjoy so many freedoms and personal liberties. But we must never forget the many brave men and women who, throughout our nation's history, have answered the call to serve, and in doing so, helped ensure that we remain the land of the free. And I'd like to share with you a famous poem from an unknown author that captures the true sense of the importance of our veterans and the reason we observe Memorial Day. I've said this one before, but it's definitely worth repeating. It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag. It is the veteran who serves under the flag. Eternal rest grant them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. President Calvin Coolidge once said, "The nation which forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten." It is incumbent upon us to always remember, not just today, but every day, the many sacrifices our veterans have made to preserve freedom and democracy throughout this great nation. And at 3 p.m. today, and on every Memorial Day, Americans are encouraged to pause wherever they are and observe a minute of silence to remember and honor those who have died in service to our nation. I ask all of you gathered here today to join with me in continuing to keep our fallen soldiers, as well as those men and women who are currently serving home and abroad, in your thoughts and prayers each and every day. God bless our veterans, God bless Southbridge, and God bless America. Thank you.
The laying of the wreath. During Roman times, to honor the brave, leaders would lay wreaths throughout the cities, paying honor to loved ones who perished in the battle and commemorating families who carried the burden and who were affected. Today, Representative John Marcy and our Grand Marshal, Larry Spinelli, will now be laying the wreath here at the Grand Army of the Republic Monument. Thank you. If everybody turns around to the World War Memorial Park behind you. Veterans Council member David Truchon and Nathan Gauthier will be laying the wreaths at that monument. Thank you. Please stand by for a 21 gun salute and the playing of taps. Thank you. At this time, we're going to line up in order of march. I had a Veterans Council member today go around to the leaders of each group. If you want to go ahead and get back onto Elm Street itself and line up, the Grand Marshal and the former the Veteran Service Officer of the town of Southbridge will be leading the march. Thank you. First of all, welcome to the Honor Roll and Dresser Memorial Park. This is our second stop throughout the parade. Our last stop will be at the Gold Star Mothers Monument at the Rotary. I'd like to introduce Father Peter from St. John Paul II Parish to say the invocation.
In the Bible, there's a section called the Psalms, and Psalm 91 is known as the soldier's prayer. So I want to share that prayer with you all here today. You can imagine these good men and women praying these prayers while on the battlefield. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High and abides in the shade of the Almighty says to the Lord, my refuge, my stronghold, my God in whom I trust. It is he who will free you from the snare of the fowler who seeks to destroy you. He will conceal you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the plague that prowls in the darkness, nor the scourge that lays waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 fall at your right, you which will never approach. His faithfulness is buckler and shield. Night holds no terrors for me, sleeping under God's wings. They shall see the Lord face to face, and bear his name on their foreheads. The night shall be no more. They will need no light from lamps or the sun, for the Lord God shall give them light, and they shall reign forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
So next, I'd like to introduce our young speakers for today. Please welcome Rochelle Volsey, President of the National Honor Society Pioneer Chapter. Rochelle is a dedicated student leader, a first-generation college student, and an active member of her community. She will be attending UMass Lowell, where she plans to study accounting with a minor in music as an honor student. In addition to her academic pursuit, Rochelle is also a young entrepreneur and a founder of the crochet business that showcases her creativity and commitment to purposeful work. Today, she joins us to honor and remember the brave men and women who gave their lives in service of our country.
Good morning, everyone. Last year, we honored Memorial Day by remembering that today is more than just a day off. It's a moment to celebrate the lives of those who gave theirs for something much larger. This year, I invite us to reflect not only on who we remember, but how we remember. There's something I've been thinking about how memory doesn't always wear a uniform. Some memories live in cemeteries marked by marble stones, but others lives in silence, in the empty chair at the table, the story never told, the song that makes a grandmother pause because it reminds her of someone long gone. This Memorial Day, I want us to think about the quiet carriers of memory, the mothers and fathers who never got to grow old with their children, the children who grew up with a folded flag instead of a parent, the siblings who still saves a seat even after all these years. These are the people who hold memory like a sacred flame, not just on Memorial Day, but every single day. You see, when someone is in service to this country, their story doesn't end with their last breath. It continues in every person who carries a piece of them forward. In the laugh they passed on, the values they stood for, the dreams they whispered to someone they trusted. And yes, some of those dreams never had a chance to come true. But maybe that's what Memorial Day is also about. Not just mourning what we lost, but asking ourselves, what will we do with what remains? So today, I challenge each and every single one of you. Don't just wave a flag, don't just scroll past a post. Instead, ask yourself, what memory am I carrying? Whose name do I still whisper, even when no one is listening? What kind of future would they have wanted me to build? Because maybe the best way to honor the fallen is not just flowers and parades, but by becoming the kind of person, the kind of country they would have been proud to die for. May we carry on their memory not as a burden, but as a light. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I believe she spoke last year too as well. Just as beautiful speech this year as last year. Next, I'd like to introduce a student from Trinity Catholic Academy. Celia Ladd is a 7th grader at Trinity Catholic Academy, where she has been a student since 1st grade. Celia participates in Theater Club, FIAT, which is also known as Faith in Action Team, and is a member of the National Junior Honor Society. She is the vice president of the Student Council. Celia lives in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, with her family. Celia?
Today is Memorial Day, and it is a day for remembering. We gather for parades, and people lay flowers on the graves of loved ones who have died. Most of all, we remember that we are safe and free because of those in the armed forces who have given their lives to serve our country. This is very real to me because many people in my family have made this sacrifice, all the way back to the early days of our country in the Revolutionary War. My grandfather is a member of the Sons of the American Revolution, and he has discovered that we have 16 proven patriots in our family ancestry. These patriots gave their lives for the ideals of independence and freedom that we sometimes take for granted today. My 6th great-grandfather, John Baker, died in a fight with Native Americans near the end of the Revolutionary War. My great-great-uncle Charles Leslie Auber was a tank commander in the Army and died in Germany at the end of World War II in 1945. Many other members of my family served in the armed forces and were ready to die for our country if necessary. Most American families have someone who has made this sacrifice. and the loss of a loved one is sad. But I think that what honors their love and bravery most is if we hold them in memory with gratitude. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Sarge Patel, who's an eighth grader at the Southbridge Middle School and also part of the National Junior Honor Society, and he plans on attending Shepherd Hill next year. Sarge?
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Sarge Patel, and I'm a local 8th grader at Southbridge Middle School. Today, we are all gathered here for Memorial Day, one of the most important holidays in America. For many Americans, the last Monday in May is the unofficial start of summer. It's a long weekend often spent with family and friends, most often than not at barbecues. But for those who have served in the military and the families of those who never came home, Memorial Day means so much more. Today serves as a day of remembrance, an honor for the brave men and women who gave their lives for our country. It's a day to feel both mourning and pride, mourning for the lives lost, and pride for the courage that they showed. Our military is built on two powerful ideas: serving others and sacrificing everything to protect our country. Because of the commitment made by our soldiers, we have the ability to live in freedom. They left their homes, faced danger, and gave up everything so we can have more. More peace, more rights, and most importantly, more hope for our future. Every day we spend time with our families is another day that many soldiers can't spend with theirs. This major sacrifice is only a part of the great price they paid for our nation. To commemorate their sacrifices, the first Memorial Day was celebrated more than 150 years ago, during the Civil War, a time when our own country was fighting against itself. It was called Decoration Day, a time when people placed flowers on grave sites of fallen soldiers. Over time, the name changed, but the purpose remained the same: to honor those who died for our freedom, and to honor those who continue to fight to uphold our freedom. As President Harry Truman once said, "Our debt to the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifices." We honor our fallen soldiers through shared memories, raising flags, and visiting grave sites. These small gestures can have a significant impact. However, we do not have to wait for Memorial Day to remember them. One name often overlooked in history is Sergeant Edward S. Kowalski, a proud member of our Southbridge community. During World War II, he served in the U.S. Army Air Forces. His plane was shot down on a mission over Europe, and for decades his fate remained unknown. But now, more than 80 years later, he has finally been brought home and laid to rest with full honors at Arlington National Cemetery. Sergeant Kowalski's story is a powerful reminder. Time may pass, but the sacrifice is never forgotten. And here in Southbridge, we remember our heroes. Just outside of town stands Southbridge Soldiers and Sailors Monument, dedicated in 1914 to honor the 292 local men who served in the Civil War. Across our town in places like Dresser Park and Servants Square, you'll find the names of the brave soldiers who died fighting for our livelihood. Their legacy lives on, not just etched into stone, but carried in our hearts. It doesn't matter where somebody served, whether it was in the deserts of Iraq, the mountains of Afghanistan, the jungles of Vietnam, or the skies over Europe. What matters is that we remember them, because when we tell their stories, we keep their memory alive. By sharing their lives, we help others understand what service and sacrifice truly mean, and we help ourselves of the world they believe in and fought to protect, a world of freedom, justice, and peace. On Memorial Day, we pause to reflect, but in days that follow, we also must live with a purpose, kindness, and courage. Major General John A. Logan, a Union Army leader who helped us start this holiday, once said, "Let no vandalism of greed or neglect, no damage from time, show future generations that we forgot the cost of a free and united country. Duty, honor, country. They lived for it, and they died for it. Now it's our job to remember them, to carry their values forward, and to live in a way that pays tribute to their sacrifices." Thank you.
Thank you, Sarge. He brought something home that a few of us Veterans Council members, town councilors, state senator, and a few other family and friends about Sergeant Kowalski, who was finally buried after 80 years in Arlington National Cemetery. And we had the honor to go down as a Veterans Council and good representatives from our town, which was overwhelming to see him buried amongst his brothers and sisters at Arlington National Cemetery just a month and a half ago. We were very honored to be there to see the American flag given to long-distance cousins of his. The fact that there's a town councilor out there and he knows who he is. He said, there's nothing like America, because other countries would have forgotten. So I thank that counselor for saying it. We're also honored to be able to, thank you. Good job, Joe. We're also honored that day to be able to lay a wreath from the Veterans Council at the tomb of the unknown soldier that day. And God had it that day for some reason. Usually it takes about 6 to 8 months pre-planning to get our name on the list to lay a wreath there at the tomb. A few days before we were actually leaving, we got word that our names got put in. We checked the calendar every single day, their website. We were able to put our names in and honor those men whose name only knows from God. So thank you. Thanks, Sarge, for bringing that up. Wonderful speakers. At this point in time, I'd like to have all three of those speakers stand there with the Veteran Service Officer, Keith Roberts, to lay the wreath of the American flag at the honor roll. Thank you. Now is the time we do every single year. We read off the individuals from Southbridge, veterans who are no longer with us, who passed away the last 365 days from 2024 to 2025. Veteran Service Officer Keith Roberts, also a Veteran Council member. Scout 33 Troop Abby Noyes, and also our Girl Scouts, Alice St. George, will lay the poppies with assistance from our former Veteran Service Officer and Vietnam veteran and Veterans Council member, Mike Trumley.
Nicola Trifoni, United States Air Force. Peter J. Shugda, United States Army National Guard. Philip Pettinelli, United States Army National Guard. Paul F. Hefner, United States Air Force. Bruce S. LaRanger, United States Army. Peter F. Hefner, United States Air Force. Roy C. Wilson, United States Army. Edward R. Giroux, United States Air Force. Albert A. Belanger, United States Navy. Bruce LaRanger, United States Army. William Julian, United States Army. Richard Lamoureux, United States Army. Ronald Welch, United States Army. Roger Blah, United States Navy. Edward W. DeZura, United States Navy. Richard R. Frederick, United States Air Force. Marcel R. Jolin, United States Army. Roger W. Peck, United States Army. Robert P. Blanchett, United States Marines.
Please stand by for a 21 gun salute and playing of taps. At this point in time, we'd like to reassemble and head down to Gold Star Mother Monument at the Rotary. Thank you. Okay, we're here at the Gold Star Mothers Monument, established the Gold Star Mothers in the Southbridge Monument. The term Gold Star family is a modern reference that comes from the service flag. These flags, banners, were first flown by families during World War I. The flag included a blue star for every immediate family member serving in the armed forces of the United States. During any period of the war or hostilities in which the armed forces of the United States were engaged. But in the event of a death, the blue star is replaced with a gold variant for the highest honor. Those who have lost loved ones to service never forget where they were when they received the news. It's something that they carry with them forever, especially when the day went from blue and turned to gold. The Gold Star allowed members of the community to know the price that the family has paid for the cause of freedom, hence the term Gold Star family. Individual military family members who lost a loved one also started to be referred as Gold Star wives, Gold Star mothers, etc. A few years later in 1936, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt built upon the growing movement in honor of mothers of deceased service members and designated the last Sunday of September as National Gold Star Mother's Day. In 1995, President Barack Obama amended Gold Star Mothers Day to include families and designated as Gold Star Mothers and Family Day, which is celebrated on the last Sunday in September. Today, like we did last year, we're honored to have a family member to come and represent their family in times of trial from World War I to most recent World War II. I'd like to introduce Counselor John Daniel to say a few words about his family.
Gold Star family members, honored dignitaries, and citizens of Southbridge, good morning. It is most fitting in our civic duty to take some time to remember, on a regular basis, those men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice while protecting our American freedoms. It is just as important to remember that mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, husbands and wives, have also sacrificed by suffering the loss of their loved ones who died in service to their country. I am most honored and humbled, then, to have been asked to address you this morning and help remember those who lost their lives and the loved ones left behind. My great uncle, Sergeant George Girard, was killed in action during the Great Battle of Belleau Woods, France, during World War I. He was one of 11 brothers and 3 sisters in the Girard family. He also was one of 23 Southbridge sons and daughters killed in action or in service to their country during the entirety of the First World War. While the war ended almost 107 years ago, my family carries the emotions and memories even today. When my father was born, he was named after Sergeant Girard. When I was a young boy, my grandmother described for me what he was like, how he grew up and lived on Henry Street, and how he fit into my family history, how he was brought home to be buried in St. George Cemetery on Page Hill. My sons know that their Pepe George was named after an uncle killed in action while serving his country. Their children, my grandchildren, are also being taught the family history of service and sacrifice. I am sure this has been the case in all Gold Star families as well. Unfortunately, the list does not end there. During the Second World War, approximately 47 sons and daughters of Southbridge paid the ultimate price. The Korean conflict meant another 8 young lives were lost, with the Vietnam War costing 9 young lives. I'm not sure if lives were lost in more recent conflicts. Please forgive me if I have overlooked their sacrifice. Where one would be much too many, approximately 87 families, Gold Star families of Southbridge, have also suffered and sacrificed for their country, paying the ultimate cost of outliving their child, their brother, their sister. In some instances, war may be necessary. Our country must be protected, our way of life preserved for those coming after us. General William Tecumseh Sherman wrote that war is cruelty and you cannot refine it. His statement is evidenced by the fact that today we are obligated to remember our Gold Star families. General Tecumseh also said, war is hell. Ask any of the Gold Star families we honor today, as I'm sure they will agree. So today, I ask for God's blessings on Southbridge's Gold Star families. Take the time to read the names on our various monuments, and if you know someone, check in on a relative of theirs. Before you close your eyes tonight, take a moment to ask for his blessings on our brave sons and daughters, and ask for a special blessing for our Gold Star families. It's the least we can do to show our gratitude for their sacrifices. God bless our fallen sons and daughters, God bless the Gold Star families, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. I do want to make mention that his uncle, his great uncle, his monument is at the World War Memorial Park as one of the 8 that we replaced from the neighborhoods into that park itself. At this time, honor our veterans who've passed. We were going to be laying a wreath here at the Italian American Monument and Veteran Council member Glenn Laswell will be laying the wreath. Next, we will be laying a wreath at the Vietnam Monument, and Vietnam veteran and Veteran Council member Michael Trombley will have the honors. Councilor Daniel and myself will be laying the wreaths here at the Gold Star Mother Monument. Please stand by for a 21 gun salute and the Armed Forces medley. job, guys. I do this every single year, as my wife had found this poem from at the time, a 14-year-old young man named Joshua Dyer. He was 14 years old back in 2019, but he wrote a pretty awesome piece about our Memorial Day and those men and women who have served in the armed forces. It's called 1,000 Men Are Walking. 1,000 men are walking, walking side by side, singing songs from home, the Spirit as their guide. They walk toward the light, my Lord. They walk towards the sun. They smoke and laugh and smile together, no foes to outrun. These men live on forever in the hearts of those they saved, a nation truly grateful for the path of the peace they paved. They march as friends and comrades, but they do not march for war. Step closer to salvation, a tranquil, steady core. The meadows lit with golden beams, a beacon for the brave. The emerald grass untrampled, a reward what they gave. They dream of those they left behind, and know they dream of them forever in those poppy fields. There walks 1,000 men. Again, this was 5 years ago when Joshua wrote this, so he's 19, I believe it's 19 years old today. I would like to thank an amazing high school band that we got to see this year. And we want to thank its director, Devon Bronson. I'd like to have the young person that played taps raise her hand today. Kelly Mar Rivera, amazing job. I'd like to thank all those veterans and residents of Southbridge that went out these last few days and placed flags at the cemeteries, multiple cemeteries, and there was quite a few volunteers this year, so I thank them. The individuals that made sure the World War Memorial Park, made sure the Gold Star Mothers, our DPW, I want to thank them as well for all the cleanup that they did and made sure this is a proper place to be recognized. Also, our high school, middle school, elementary schools, STAR program, NJHS, National Honor Society, our Trinity Catholic Academy family for being out here today, and the young speakers that speak. It makes our jobs a lot easier when individuals like that from the high school to middle school are able to come out here and speak on behalf of those brothers and sisters that we no longer see in front of us. Thank you. I want to thank Representative Marcy. I want to thank the town council. I'd like to thank the town manager for being here today, along with all the great residents and family members of these fine young people, and the police department, as always, and the fire department. And if you don't know, every Memorial Day, they do their own Memorial Day over at Oak Ridge Cemetery. And I thank you for the invitation and also for the event that you put on every single year for your brothers and sisters who are no longer with us. I want to thank everybody for attending the Southbridge Memorial Day Parade today. Thank you and have a safe weekend. Enjoy your barbecues, but just remember at 3 o'clock today, maybe take a moment of silence and think about those people that cannot enjoy that today. Thank you very much for your time.